being an actor is like also trying to be an ideal human being because you study life. An actor's job is not really easy. Like they say, artista lang yan, dali-dali mag-arte.
Welcome to another episode of Casual Conversations, Neo Retro 105.9's official podcast. I am quite excited for this episode for many reasons. The first one, because I'm not alone. Yay! I finally have a co-host who is Natalia. She's also on
Hi,
air
guys.
on Neo Retro 105.9, so do check her out. And also, of course, follow the station as well, facebook.com/1059 Neo Retro for more updates. The other reason why I'm super excited for today's podcast is because I have seen our guest for today, his movies as a part of school curriculum, actually. So I'm super excited to talk to him. He is a multi-awarded actor and producer. Of course, you guys know him from many movies, really, and of course, TV series as well. On the movie side, I can think of Oro Plata Mata. Of course, there's also Jose Rizal. Tanging Yaman is also one of his works. So let's all welcome to the Neo Retro 105.9 podcast, Sir Joel Torre.
It's such an honor to have you here.
I'm honored to be here. Hi, guys. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Natalia. I'm pretty excited to be here. Yes, let's get the show rolling.
First of all, thank you so much for making time. I understand you are a very busy person. How are you? I always start the podcast on that note, just because the world has changed so much. We got the pandemic happened, COVID-19 happened, of course. All that being said, how are you, sir, amidst lockdown?
Well, I'm good. I'm pretty good. We've survived 2020. And I think we're in a better place right now than last year when everything was uncertain. Now things are starting to roll back, back to the grind. Although you're right, it is a changed world. The world has changed tremendously. So, but I believe we'll survive this. We'll survive this. I think science is winning the race. We've got the vaccines. We've got a lot of recoveries. Our scientists, our doctors are doing their best to address this problem that we have. Hopefully, it will be gone soon. So thank God we're still here.
I couldn't
It's
agree
good to
more.
be here.
During the intro, I already told you guys that I actually got to study Sir Joel Torre's work because I'm not sure, sir, if you're familiar with this, but I come from UP and there's this course called PI 10 or PI 100 if you're from UP Diliman. And it's basically about the life and works of Jose Rizal. And one of your films, or at least the films that you're a part of, Jose Rizal, is actually a required material for us to watch. Are you aware of that, sir?
I'm aware there's a film school in UP, no? I think I was invited on one of the talks there. I know that they're using Jose Rizal as educational part of the curriculum, which is very good that they allow students to learn. Movies are not only entertainment, but they're also educational as well, especially when we're dealing with lives that's part of our history. I think I did two Jose Rizal movies, the one with Jose Rizal with Cesar Montano.
Yes.
And there's another one, Bayaning Third World by the great director Mike De Leon, which is like deconstruction of Jose Rizal. It's something that people are not really aware of. It's the what do you call this? The controversies in his life and what are the truth behind it. Did he really retract? Did he have a child? Or did the Jesuits really lead him on to when he was exiled in Dapitan, and all these dead ends in his life?
Yeah.
The director was trying to find the answers towards this. So the ultimate thing about it is it's all about truth, no? Until now, we really don't know, but I think they already got from Spain from their public library or some answers to these controversies.
How does it feel, sir, that that your work, that your body of work is a required material for a lot of students, for basically anybody who went through the University of the Philippines? How does that make you feel?
I really feel glad that some of our movies are accessible to students. It's about our history. Like I said, movies are not just entertainment, but educational as well. And then they can be very insightful and enlightening. I remember when we were in high school, we were required to watch Maynila sa Kuko ng Liwanag. And it was a groundbreaking film for me. It gave back my faith towards Filipino films because before the trend was like a song and dance, purely entertainment. But when Maynila sa Kuko ng Liwanag, directed by Lino Broca and produced by Mike De Leon, came out, it was very different. No, it's the first time I really believe in Filipino films. So I hopefully, among the youth, they don't lose their faith on our movies, on our films. Yes.
Yeah, kind of fanboying over here just because back in my
Don't be.
university days, I just study you, and here I am now talking to you. So that being said, I just want to get down to it. Why and how are you so good, sir? Can you get me? Can you walk me through the process of being an actor? Because I've always been so fascinated with actors. Like, what makes Joel Torre so good as an actor?
Well, thank you first of all for the compliment. It's good to hear, that validates our work. I guess I really started very early. No? I started as a child actor, not in the movies, not on TV, but theater. I started theater at an early age. I was 7 years old, and that was way back 1969 when we did our first play. I was very lucky. I was mentored by one of the best, which is Peke Galiaga, who directed Oro Plata Mata and a lot more movies. And I really was under the wings of Peke. So Peke was always experimenting, and we came across this book, Being by Eric Morris, who's like one of the third generation of acting coaches. So we experimented on that, and I think you can say we were the guinea pigs of his process. It's like the process of the method, but it's like third generation process where it all stemmed from Stanislavski anyway. And then after college, I decided I wanted to be an artist. So thankfully, I knew what I wanted, so I pursued my dreams. I think it's all starts with a passion, your love for the craft. I'll give you an analogy. It's like a basketball player. So it's not only during the games that you're good at, but it's during the practice. So we were doing workshops, and I was like very interested into new things. I was learning. I was reading books, and of course, a lot of experience helped me a lot. Right after graduation, I graduated college 1982. So that was 39 years ago. I was lucky enough to land the role of Miguel Lorenzo in Oro Plata Mata. And from then on, once you decide on something, especially in your career, there's no turning back. So I committed myself to the art. I dedicated myself. There was a lot of discipline and sacrifices and a lot of learning process. So this Eric Morris, by the way, was invited to give a workshop here in the Philippines. So we invited him over to the Actors Workshop Foundation. And this was one thing I'll never forget. No, we were doing an exercise. I was doing this exercise, and I really hit it. And I was in the moment. I was in the zone, or I was like, they say, you're rolling. No,
Yeah.
what he told me was very important for me, and he told me that Joel is the job of an actor. Your job is to bare your soul. So how's that? So in every character that you do, you have to work hard for it and try to seize that moment, meaning the scene, and you have to bare your soul so that it translates to your audiences. In other words, it's not just through the screen, but the audience will really feel it, or even while sitting in a movie house, the emotions and everything. I think that's what bare your soul means for me.
That is amazing. It's so funny that you also bring up Eric Morris's being in acting because I had a conversation with. I'm sure you're familiar with her, the great Sherry Hill, and we were talking
Yes.
about Eric Morris, Anthony Hopkins. Again, the different styles of acting and the different, I guess, schools of thought behind it.
Uh-huh.
We were also talking about the difference between acting then and acting now, and she was talking about, oh, dati kasi you have to be a one take wonder or you have to do it as soon as you can because dati parang limitado lang daw yung mga tapes that you could use. Now everything's digital, so actors now can experiment more. They can do different variations of a specific scene, which I feel like we can talk about in a bit. But I do understand that Natalia has a question for you.
Yeah. Again, I'm such a big fan. Thank you for joining us. It's such an honor. My question is, how long does it take you to, mentally prepare yourself or get in the zone for a role and memorize your script? Like, what's the
Uh,
process behind that?
okay. As an actor, even if you're not working, you work on your instrument. An actor's instrument is his being, his body, his voice, his emotions, what's everything. So that's why there's the book being. It's like your tool. It's like a carpenter that even while not working, you have to harness the saw so that it's not that so that it's sharp. You have to. It like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's magic in the zone is not only through the games, but like I said, it's through practice, practice, practice. Like this joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? The way to get to go to Carnegie Hall is practice, practice, practice. And we have exercises for that. We have preparation exercises. We have relaxation exercise because one of the actors' big enemies is tension and stress. Once you're tense and you're not relaxed, your creative juice are not just like working or flowing as it should be. So I do a lot of meditation actually to prepare myself. So another role of an actor for me is once you go to the set, you already go prepared. You have your lines pat. You have to memorize your lines way before so that it doesn't get in the way of your performance. You concentrate on your emotions and your feelings because you don't have to think much about the line. It should be a little like spontaneous and it should be like the first time you're saying it. That makes it fresh, that makes it original, and that makes it real. An actor's work, aside from bearing his soul, Natalia, is you have to be real. That's why may mga sabi nila, the moment, get the moment. It's that precise moment when you're, when you're rolling, when you're performing, that you know that you got it. You don't need the criticism from others or feedback from others because you know inside you there was the truth in it. So it's so ironic that the arts are supposed to be like artificial, but as an actor, you have to come up with the truth. If your performance is so real, it will move your audiences, even the fat lady at the back in the theater, like they say. No? So a lot of it has
Yeah.
to be finding the truth in yourself, in that emotion, and doing it at that precise moment. And it takes a lot of practice. I'm not saying that,
Wow.
sometimes it's hit or miss, but practice, practice, practice will get you to Carnegie Hall. Thanks,
Wow.
Natalia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just listening to you talk, and the
Wow.
things that were going through my head was like, wow, practice really does
Make perfect.
make perfect, yes, but also more than that, it's refreshing for me at least to hear that a legend or somebody as establishes themselves
Artiste.
in the industry still says, you
I
know what, you need to
agree.
practice, you need to work on yourself as an actor. I think for me it's refreshing and it's humbling to find that again somebody as established as you are still says that. I want to go back to what you said a while ago, which is you learn from the likes of Peke Gallaga. I want to zero in on you becoming from the student to the mentor. Because you've learned from these people, of course, right? Have you ever, I guess, tried mentoring other actors, and what's that like for you?
I'm not really comfortable about, teaching other people and actors. But if you talk about mentoring, I'm doing that one right now actually because my daughter, Marella, is also joining the industry. She's getting a role in one of the soap operas, so something to watch out for. So she always asks me for help. So and we give workshops. I mean, we do scenes. We work on scenes together. And the best thing about teaching and mentoring is you learn yourself. So that's the best reward you get from teaching or mentoring.
I agree. I agree. I'm just again fanboying over here. I'm just having a great
Yeah.
time talking about acting. Natalia, you got a question, right?
Yeah, so Tito, you mentioned that your daughter is going to be joining the acting industry. So, was the acting something that was always instilled in your daughter growing up? How do you feel about, your daughter joining and following in your footsteps?
I'm so glad because I can semi-retire right now, and well, she's there to as a continuum, as a continuity or a succession. Ever since I've always knew Morella had a passion for it. She really loved the acting part, and she was very vocal about it. But she was young at the age of 5, 6, 7. She
That's
would push
great.
me to let her go through auditions for commercials, and I'd go with them, being a stage father. And of course, I have full trust in her. She's done quite some films already. She's part of the Circle of Bones, who's I think it's part of the Festival du Cannes right now, and it's an international film with Sarah Chang, and she did a lot of action stuff movies, and because she moves really well and she knows martial arts, and of course, what can I do? I have to encourage her. I have to help her. This is
Mhm.
my daughter now, so and I'm very happy with the bonding that we're having while working on it. As actors, we need to do scenes, working on a scene, and it helps a lot. It helps a lot that you give her the encouragement, the confidence, and of course the
Mhm.
tools to let her survive in the industry.
Yes.
So I'm happy. I'm passing it on to her. I'm in my life right now where I'm officially semi-retired because I believe I cannot totally retire from the arts, from my craft. I still need it. I still look for it. And it's food for the soul for artists. But I'm also happy that I don't have to, accept everything that comes my way. I'm lucky that I have the luxury of choice. I get to read the scripts and decide what films I can do and what films I can't do. So I'm in a good spot. But for now, I'm not too keen on working on soap operas right now because of the situation we have. It's pandemic. When we shoot, we go to a bubble. We have to quarantine ourselves like 10 days before we go to the location or the bubble, then stay there for a month and then quarantine yourself for like 5 days after the shoot. So that takes a lot of time from me. And I think I've worked long enough in the industry. That I've worked like for 40 years already. So to be in the industry, it's about time for me to ease on down the road. I can like relax a little bit and choose the best roles I can manage. Right, Natalia?
Yes, I completely agree. I'm just so fascinated, Tito.
You
Yeah.
guys are starting your careers while I'm on the way on my exit plan, but
Yes,
not
you're
total
very
exit plan.
experienced. Yeah, so you wear so many hats, right? You manage your daughter, you're a husband, a father, an actor, an entrepreneur, a mentor to your daughter and other people, a film producer and a film director. If you had to prioritize one over another, which one would you prioritize first?
Of course, I live with a mantra. It's always family first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all also about time management. Uh, I worked so hard when I was starting a family that somehow I regret it sometimes that I was always away from my family. I mean, that's every father's dilemma, especially the time when they were in Bacolod. They were, born and raised in Bacolod. So I had to shuttle myself. There was no permanence in me because I'll just be there for 2 weeks, then I'll be back in Manila, maybe work for 3 weeks, then back. So there was no permanent or the bonding that I had with my kids. But lucky enough, I transferred them here, and that was the time that we really became family. So now that they have a life of their own, I'd like to spend more time with them because they're at a point in their life that they need guidance, that they need the support, and they need well, after family, of course, no, friends and my craft. I would believe I gave a lot of myself towards being an actor, time, discipline, and everything. Um, and when I took up a double major when I was in college because, like I said, as a theater actor, I don't think I could feed the family. So I needed extra income as a fallback position that when I got older, fatter, and uglier, I don't think I'll have more work. So I need a fallback position, which is my being an entrepreneur or being in a restaurant. And by the way, our family, my mom, we were 13 kids. So she
Wow.
had to feed
Big
13
family.
kids
Wow.
every day. And she's a terrific cook, no? And I'm glad she decided to make a business out of it so that she could feed 13 kids for free. She was in the food business. We were into catering, we were into ration where it's just like now it's like a cloud kitchen where people go to the house, bring their prembreras, these stackable tin prembreras, and they would get their food from us, lunch, my classmates, people, the classmates of my sisters and my brothers. We all had the same food. So food was also part of my life because I was the mascot. I was the youngest, and my mom would also always bring me to the public market because I was in the school then. I was like 4 or 5, and I'll tag along with her. So that's it. Well, priority wise, it's always about family. At the end of the day, it's you can choose your friends, but you can choose your family. But no, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
But family is very important.
That
Family
sounds
is
like
very
a that
important.
sounds like a Game of Thrones line. I'm not sure if you watch Game of Thrones, sir, but they
I
have like
did, yeah.
yeah, they have like house I forget what it's called. They have like house codes or like mantras per family. It sounds like one of those things. That's so interesting to me though. You grew up with 12 siblings. Is
13. He said
no
yeah,
13.
no
yeah.
13 all in all, but
Oh,
yeah, 12
yes,
siblings,
total.
right? Um
Yes.
what was that dynamic like? Were you and are you all actors? Are you all in the food industry? What's the family dynamic like?
It's a lot of fun. Big families. There used to be a joke, cheaper by the dozen,
Oh, I know
a
that one
baker's
too.
dozen, because it's always fun at home. It's never a dull moment, especially when we eat together. No, there's a lot of activity, and the busiest part of the house was actually the kitchen. Before in high school, when there was catering to earn our keep, we had to roll lumpia, about like that just to get our weekend passes and our baon for us to, buy beer or watch a movie. We had to
Right.
do some domestic work. So we were trained really early. And there was a point how I got into theater because a lot of our family members were also part of that Judicious Guild, which was the local community theater in Bacolod. And that's where I learned from. That's where my sister dragged me because they needed a boy for a play all the way home by Angelico, and I was forced to do it. But then when I got into the stage and while we were doing rehearsals, I fell in love with it. Like they said, when the acting bug bits you, there you go. It's the beginning of something great.
It's hard to shake
And
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to shake off, but once you're passionate about something, like
exactly.
once the passion bug bites, basically that's it.
Yeah.
Hinahanap mo talaga eh. That's a part
Yeah.
of your fulfillment. There are work that's food for the table, and there are works that are food for the soul. You seek it out. You want like films like Bayaning Third World, Amigo, On the Job. These are roles that you wanna bite into and uh, bring your soul to that character. So I was lucky enough to study more about Jose Rizal because I got to do his role. So I was doing my own research work at the
Mm,
Lopez Museum, reading books for to help me for the role, stuff like that.
got it. I actually want to focus on that as well because a while ago you mentioned that basically at this point in your career you've played so many characters, and every character you give it your all. And one of the things, while I was listening to a podcast featuring Anthony Hopkins when he was talking about his role, I'm not sure if you've seen it, sir, the movie on Netflix called Two Popes. He was
Yes,
he was
yeah.
talking about how he played the Pope and how he had to be the Pope, and he had a hard time shaking it off a bit. Did you ever experience that? Because I understand, like what you said a while ago, every role you have to give it your all. So
Yes.
I guess to summarize my question, what's the process like once you're done with the role? Do you have a hard time finding yourself, or do you have a hard time detaching from that role?
If you're really totally engrossed in the role, part of it is you already because in the role you give yourself a lot of yourself towards the
Right.
role. But don't worry, we have exercises where we chase out our demons. We exercise the roles. I mean, there are abandonment exercises. There are exercises that at the end of the day, it's part of your work. So you have to shake that off. But then part of it is also embedded in you already because
Mm.
of the teachings, the when you immerse yourself totally in a role, part of that role is you, and you become the role, like they say, a big part of you becomes the role too. So just shake off what you don't need, any negative vibes. We
Yeah.
have energies to take it away from our system, but the good ones we try to keep them.
Definitely. Um, and this, and we can get this out of the podcast if ever it's too personal, but I want to ask about your mental health, sir, because of course everybody knows what happened to the great Heath Ledger when he played the Joker. I want to know, have you ever had issues with mental health because of a role that you've played?
Uh, yeah, mental is part of an actor's a tool. No? It's like your physical, your emotional, your psychological, and your intelligence. They're all part of you. Uh, you have. Well, I could say that I'm lucky to be a Gemini because I'm able to take any roles. And to a point, like I guess I was diagnosed like a bipolar, and it worked to my advantage. So I can do emotions through extremes, no? I can be very happy in one scene and be very sad in another scene all in the same day. So I guess you need a really good compass to bear your bearings so that you know where you are. And after all, these are all just exercises. Uh, but one thing I can tell you, if you're really mentally disturbed or there's something happening in your life, it's very hard for you for an actor to work. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
you're unstable, um, uh, it's very hard to memorize the role or to hit that moment or get into a zone. So you have to prepare yourself. I mean, you be there's a getting ready to get ready exercise. There are relaxation exercises. You have to take care of your tool of your being. It's very important. That's why sometimes it's very exhausting for us because part of these emotions are with us, and you go home really exhausted because of not only because the physicality of it, but because of the emotions that are being drawn away from you. It's really exhausting more than the physical side.
Yeah. How do you cope with mental health? Like I have anxiety, I get anxious from time to time, and what has helped me is guided meditations and meditating. Is there something like a tip that you can, give to people that have the same mental health issue too?
Right. First of all, if it's that severe, get professional help. No, if
Yes.
need be, which I always consider, and I always tell people to get some professional help. Uh, a lot of meditation really helps. While there's this joke with actors that because we work so hard in long hours, where the acting is free, we're paid to wait because we're just there waiting on the set the whole time. So I use these moments to do meditation. And what really
That's
worked for
great.
me was prayers, no? Being in touch with your spiritual self, being with your high power, being with somebody. This too shall pass, so worry about it. So you have to deal with all this. So an actor's job is not really easy. Like they say, artista lang yan, dali-dali mag-arte. Did you know that the number one fear in the world? What's the number one fear in the world? Public
Public
speaking.
speaking, yes.
Right, right. So not everybody can do it, and we as
I'm
an
scared right
actor,
now.
we do it most of the time. We're in front of audiences. Da, da, da. So, like I said, being an actor is like also trying to be an ideal human being because you study life. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how to, be relaxed and be in touch with your emotions, study life, and study other people. So it's great. We're paid to study life.
That sounds like a
That's
sweet
amazing.
gig. If only I had like a fraction of your talent, I would definitely consider that for myself. But I also I want to know I guess a bit more of you from a perspective of being an actor and being a producer as well when you're watching films because a while ago you said that you've been through many different films, you've produced a lot as well. And just to paint I guess a picture of comparison for us radio DJs, sometimes when we listen to other radio stations or even when we listen to our own tapes, we're like, oh, I could have done that better, or I could do this, I could do that. Do you also get that train of thought when you're watching other films, like, oh, the actor could have done this, oh, the producer could have done this, oh, the storyline's kind of weird? When Joel Torre is watching a film, what goes through his mind?
Yeah, that's the problem with us professional actors or being in the industry. Um, upon the first screening, we don't appreciate the movies that much because we get to be technical, no? You get to be a critic of other people's work. But I've learned through the years to let go of it, and especially if I watch my movies, our movies, I have to watch it first, like for to study it. But I want to watch it again so that I let go of all this judgmental criticisms, whatever. My problem is watching my movies. I always go down through memory lane. I always go to. I know the day when we shot this. I had coffee with this guy, and this is what happened. It's not as spontaneous as you want it to be. Um, uh, my love for movies actually started because we had a movie house in the province in Negros, Cadiz City, which is 60 kilometers away from Bacolod. So every weekend we'd go to my lola's house, and when I get out of the car, no, I wouldn't go to the house. The first thing I do is watch the movie because it's just right beside my lola's house. So that's where I fell in love with movies. I'd watch it over and over again for free because it was Ramona Theater. It was my Lola's, and it's like if you've seen the movie Cinema Paradiso, the great Italian film by Giuseppe Torre. It was about my life. It was about this boy who was in the movie house, and sometimes I'd be the one to switch the projector room. I had a friend, the projectionist. Oh, he called me. Oh, it's about time to change the projector room from projection one to projector two. So I'd switch it off. So movies before were on double programs. You don't watch one movie. There's always a double program. So double feature. During the week, they'd show it in Bacolod. I'd watch movies like Green Beret or whatever is the blockbuster. And during the next weekend, they'll send those reels to the provinces or the outskirts of Bacolod, and I'd watch them again. This was the time when there was no VHS where you can rewind, review. So all my favorite parts of the movies I'd watch, and that was the birth of my love for cinema magic, movie making. I was so amazed how they're able to do it. About like a child, like a 6-year-old child, 7-year-old watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. How can they fly? How do they those cars fly? Your suspension of disbelief and the sound of music, da da da. So that was my childhood movies. And I thank God we had that movie theater before because that was the start of my love affair with the arts, and especially with the movie magic.
Right. I
That's
mean,
great.
also funny that you mentioned Sound of Music. They also had like a lot of siblings, so definitely there's a some sort of parallelism there. Um, if if let's
Exactly.
say if I were to open Joel Torres' Netflix account, what is one movie that would surprise me now? Oh, Joel watches this. Like, do you have a film that I think people would be surprised that you enjoy?
Uh, uh, a lot, no? A lot of movies are like I don't know, but I'm a Coen Brothers fan. I've
Oh,
watched a lot of Coen Brother films. I think they're fabulous, and I even met them in New York. And with Frances McDormand, who's the wife of Joel Cohen. So I'm a big fan of theirs. So since Fargo, The Big Lebowski. So these are the kind of movies I like. They're in black comedy. It's
yes.
black comedy, but they're silly, funny, but true. So I have this belief that it is in black comedy, wherein the bigger the laughter, the deeper the pain. So you're laughing out loud in this ridiculous scene, but it's so painful to watch also because it's like a Greek tragedy, but you're laughing at it. So you have both sides of the comedy and the tragedy part, especially for theater, those two maths. And also Mark Twain's word, the secret of humor lies not in joy but in sorrow. So I'm a big fan of like Bayan in Third World is a great example of a black comedy. It's about Rizal. You're funny. You're laughing at it, but you're laughing because it's true. It's so tragic.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What was that
Coen
like?
brother.
Wow. Wow.
What was that like meeting the Coen brothers? What was that experience like for you?
Um, it was so uncool for me, you know.
Why?
Because I'm a fan. We made this movie Amigo with John Sayles,
Yes.
with Chris Cooper in it about the Filipino American War. So prior to that, I was in New York doing Batang West Side with Love Diaz, and at the same time I was doing off Broadway play The Dog Eaters by Jessica Hagedorn. So every Christmas they had this, with the independent filmmakers, they had this tradition that go upstate in Poughkeepsie and have parties. Their Christmas party, and I was glad because their editor was a good friend of mine from Bacolod, so wasn't invited. So Plummy, the wife of my friend, would say she's also an editor. Said, "Hey Joel, this is Joel." Oh my God, this Joel Cohen, Joel Cohen, and I put my friend on the side. Man, Mario, I've watched Fargo like 6 times already. I said, cool ka lang, pare. Cool lang, cool. And then, there was a point that Joel, this is Francis. Oh my God, it's Francis McDormand. And at the end of the day, we were dancing. It was, and guess who was offering me beer? Frances McDormand, the three-time Oscar
Yeah.
awardee, Best Actress,
Wow.
Best
Wow.
Actress, and David Byrne was there. So I was starstruck. No, Kevin Bacon was there with a wife, and these were the group of independent filmmakers in New York. And I was doing a Love Diaz film, and so we had stories to share. And I'm here for 8 months already, trying to shoot this independent film. And one thing great about New York filmmakers, they were so welcoming, especially with artists. Like New York is the state of the arts after all. So I had a great kick out of it. Imagine Francis McDormand said, serving you beer,
That's
Exactly.
so
offering you
cool.
beer. Hey, would you like to have a beer? Oh yes, of course, Francis. But after like watching Fargo like 6 times or maybe more.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yes.
Tito, I want to go back to, I'm sorry, I want to go back to mental health. Like, I am just a starting, DJ at the radio station. And
Great.
how do you deal,
Congratulations.
thank you, Tito. How do you deal with the self-doubt or, knowing that you're starting something so fresh? What helps keep you going and, believing in yourself? Like, what motivation do you seek? How do you do it? How do you continue? Is what I'm trying.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question, Natalia. I would first of all, I've tried everything, all aspects in scientifically, physically, professional health. But what helped me most was, aside from my meditation, was I was in touch with my inner self, and the way that helped me get in touch with my inner self was through my spiritual experiences. I believe I have all this faith that God will help me, and true enough, He will. And there was a really good advice from a friend of mine when I was going through my own depression. And one of the best advices that I got was an advice by a wise man to a king. No, said, "This too shall pass. This too shall pass." I think those are very wise words. That hey, stop. No, 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 no. I know I was in the dark side of the road, but I was able to get out of it because of I had to cling to my faith. My spirituality helped me a lot, got me in touch with myself, and I have this mantra in prayer from do not be afraid, God is with you. So I always keep a special phrase from the Bible. Uh, uh, have I not commanded you? Be strong and be of good courage. Do not be afraid and do not be dismayed, for I, your God, will always be there for you. So, yun na, parang nawala na yung takot ko. May katulong ako. God is with me all the time. So, I think I can handle this. God is with me. So,
That's
uh,
beautiful.
you don't put the pressure only to yourself, but there are people there's a living thing that's helping you. So I think if you focus on that track, you'll ease it down. So whenever you have these panic attacks, go stop everything, breathing, proper breathing, and you go through your mental meditation, and through your meditation you go to your inner self and you go to your higher power, and you're sure enough that your higher power is helping you right now. So the thing is, another mantra would be from Baba Ramdas: be here now. It's the now that's important. What we talked about two minutes ago was gone, and what we're about to talk 2 minutes from now is never came yet. So be here now. So get in touch with you. It's the focus. It's the discipline to focus yourself. Once you focus yourself on something that's positive, I think you'll be on the right track. Always tell yourself, I can do this. I will do it, and with God's help, I will do it.
Thank you so much for those wonderful words. As we wind down on this podcast, I want to go back to also what Natalia said a while ago, which is you wear so many hats. We talked about you being a father. We talked about you being an actor, definitely. But now I want to talk to you as an entrepreneur because there is JT's Manukan. Can you walk us through what was it like for you starting that business?
Um, I was like 40 years old already. And I thought as you grow older, your market value decreases as an actor. But
Grabe.
well,
Parang di
not
naman.
Oo
really.
naman.
No, but I was really tired of working. I couldn't take
Right.
the long hours. Like I said, I asked Christy, hey, you have to help me out. We have to have a fallback position. Since I had a passion for food, because I grew up with food. Like I said, my mom was a great cook, and like half of Bacolod got their lunch from us, or maybe 1/8 or whatever. But I had this passion for food and said, "What are we gonna do?" And I said, let's augment our because as an actor, I was you do 5 movies, you have enough savings. Then there comes a time when there's drought. There's no work coming in, so all your savings get depleted. And these are times that you're not constructive. You're out there spending, having a good time, taking this vacation, da da da. By the time, hey, I need to work because my save. So I thought all those times that you're not so productive, we better make use of those times and days to be productive. And what to do was to get a passive income, something that you don't have to be there. And since food was a part of me, because I grew up, going to the public market with my mom, I said, let's put up a restaurant. Christy said, what kind of a restaurant? Hey, we're from Bacolod. What's the most famous recipes for Bacolod? Inasal.
Inasal,
So
yeah.
that was the birth of our chicken inasal place, or JT's. And after we talked about it, we couldn't sleep anymore. We're just like, oh my, the scary part. We knew it was gonna happen. So if you dream it, you can have it. And like said, life begins at 40. We had JTs when I was like 41. For then, yeah, it's true. Life begins at 40. So it was another chapter in my life. But we were doing mom and pop lang, so one of the we got consultant, smart people hire smart people, people who knows the industry. So we're getting help from them, and then after being a mom and pop business, now that it grew, we're trying to be very professional and corporate about it. So we hired people who are professionals in the job. So that gives me time also to relax because I know the business is in good hands. There are people, and lucky enough, the people that we got, they're also already part of our family. Ang mabait nila, we were lucky to get good people, not only for the work, but because of their, personalities too. They're good people. So that's it. I invest in human resources, like they say. I'm not really part of a big businessman. No, I'm more than an artist and a businessman. I just wanted to save enough for the rainy day, save enough for like a semi-retirement plan, which is actually what I'm doing now. Well, I think be careful with what you wish for, because they do come true. They do happen. So better, have a good dreams and just don't dream it, be it.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful words. But as we all know, COVID happened, the pandemic happened, and while I am happy that JT Manukan is still around, I want to know from the business side of things, from an owner's perspective, how is business so far? How have you guys been affected by the pandemic, and how did you guys pivot? Because I know everything had to change.
Like everybody else, we're all affected by it, no? Especially last year, 2020 was the worst because it was uncertain. People didn't know. The first thing that came into my mind when the pandemic hit us was, of course, our staff, our employees. What are they gonna do? There's a lot of people who are, dependent on the business. So we had staff meetings. The first thing to do was give them the 13th month, their sick leave, anything to help augment their expenses, because everything stopped for about a month, 2 months. But I was already reading this before the pandemic hit about the rise of the virtual restaurant, wherein people, like what's happening now, having their home kitchen, their cloud kitchen, and selling their food. So we were thinking about that already way before, no? But when it slowly opened, it was a sigh of relief for everyone. So, but still, our concern was our employees or even the people around us. So I got them insurances so that if anybody gets sick, at least it will help them. Anything to help our people because they're part of our family already. Thank God that JT's worked out because our food was a kind of food that you can go for to go, take away, diba? Take out food. So we had to improve our takeout services, be more on an online platform like with Grab, Food Panda, like what everybody's doing, and little by little work ourselves up. No, just sad that our employees have to work like 1 week shift is each. We had to segregate them because if Team A gets infected, at least we still have Team B that can work on the stuff like that. But my mindset was when all this were happening, do not be discouraged. So even more that I felt the challenge to operate and secure the business. We maybe lost about there were about 4 or 5 branches that closed, no? But we were able to open like 6 branches.
Oh
So
wow.
imagine that even during pandemic, we're opening restaurants, and we were lucky enough. So we just said, now let's tighten our belts, da da da, simplify things, and there was this home from work thing. So I didn't have to go to the commissary to hold meetings, but for everybody's safety, just like what we're doing, Zoom meeting until things are getting better. Like I said earlier, we're better off from last year. I think the worst has already passed us,
Mhm.
except for this new variant, whatever. But we know how to deal with it already. And plus, labanan lang natin, tuloy lang ang laban. And at the same time, uh, it's time management. I'm glad we got these really good people who do their time for us. They work so hard also for the company. They're very loyal to us because we treat them not just as employees but as part of our family. And it's very encouraging that
Mm.
anytime we get a little there's a windfall, or we try to give them dividends or bonuses just to help them out. And I think we passed that already. Now we're going to like food trucks, where you see this trailers that KFC has or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're into that, but it's been a dream of Christy to have food truck way before. Now it's time to implement it, and we're working on that. We're working on alternatives to help our income. And like I said, it's some people look at it as a misfortune, but others look at it as an opportunity to open businesses. So that's what we're doing. We're fighting it in a way that we have to be good. Let's not wag tayo magpatalo. In other words, life goes on.
Yes.
Like I said, this too shall pass. So
Yes.
we're in the right direction. Although we have to follow the guidelines and the protocols of IATF and LGUs. But one thing very encouraging with the restaurant business, there are people who are who's who in the industry, and they put up Resto PH, Restaurant Philippines. We're all members of a lot of different restaurants are part of this. And Eric Tang, who's the president, said really a wonderful thing. When this pandemic happened, all these chefs, they were helping out each other. There was this Bayanihan effect that they're helping each other. It used to be like competitors, but now we're in one industry. Then let's sort it out and help each other. Even McDonald's and Jollibee, who are rivals, came up with ideas like that. Bakuna. If you're vaccinated,
You
you
get
get some
discounts.
freebies. Yes. So this all stemmed from this Resto PH thing, working with Go Negosyo and with IATF. So I think we're bouncing back. We're bouncing back.
I
That's
am
good to
so
hear.
happy to hear that.
Yes. So sige lang, tuloy lang, no? Laban lang.
Tama.
Ayoko ma-stress. Ayoko ma-stress. Let's do something creative. Let's fight this off.
Exactly. You said something that got me really excited, sir. You mentioned JT Manukan's food truck. Is it already out and about, or is it something that you guys are
No,
working on?
we're doing the prototypes already. Like by Monday, we're signing the pair to go ahead with a prototype with samples of it, and we can park it anywhere. And these are
Wow.
just small things that that's the future of maybe the restaurant business. Bring the
Okay.
food to the people. Oh.
I can't wait for
Right.
that.
And I will
That's so
send. I will
See,
exciting.
send.
Natalia is always there at JT's. We
I
love
am.
JT's
I'm a
food.
number one fan. It's the best chicken and asal.
Thank
I
Ryan.
you.
will. I will also send the address of the station. Para lang for reference of the food truck.
Right,
I'm
right,
kidding. I'm kidding.
sure.
I'm kidding. But wow,
We're
I am so
opening one in
excited.
Sukat. By the way, we're opening one in Sukat and one in Alabang. So I think that's near your area.
Awesome. That's so near
Yes,
us.
that is so.
Open one in
That
BF too.
Near there.
I am so
That
excited for
Amaya
that.
place of the Ayalas, I think we're opening one there
I'm so
pretty
excited for
soon.
that. Well then, goodbye to my ideal body weight is what I'm gonna say. But
Just
I do,
ease on the rice.
No, but
Don't get
chicken's good for you.
don't get the only rice.
sir. That's hard. You can't get inasal without the only rice. That's impossible.
Right,
That's
right,
impossible.
right. Yeah.
It is.
Deadly combination, huh?
Exactly. But I understand, Natalia, you have a question, right?
Yeah, so to go back to what what was mentioned earlier with you wearing so many hats. What is a typical day for you for like now that there's COVID? Like, I mean, things are still not back to normal completely.
Uh, well, when it hit, no, I had all the time in the world to think what am I gonna do. I mean, you can get out of the room, you cannot. So now I think I managed to, the part of our work as a businessman is time management. Um, I meet with the people at the commissary at least once a week. Then we have Zoom meetings. But the best thing about my decision right now, when I declared myself, as semi-retired or for sabbatical or a personal sabbatical, I have all the time in the world. So that's a lot of freedom for me, Natalia. When I used to work for TV, I would be subject to their schedules. Hey, you have to shoot here, be up at this time. But now I get hold of the time of my own time. Hawak kong oras ko, which is very liberating for me. I mean, like I told you, I've worked for 40 years with that kind of grind, and it takes its toll on you and your body and your mind. Now that I have this, I decided na hinay-hinay na lang. So I think it works effectively for me. Now I'm accepting jobs that doesn't require me to be in a bubble for a month, just maybe like 6 days, and for the rest of the month I have this time for myself, and I devote part of it to work, but mostly now I devote it for me because I owe it to myself. I need to have a break. I'm more relaxed now. I'm less stressed. So I guess mga things that those are the unsatiable things, no? Na hindi mo nakikita, but now I'm beginning to enjoy it. Na time, although is man's invention, but if you hold on to it, if hawak mong oras mo, oh, what a luxury. I don't have to wake up like, hey, 9 o'clock, I have to be on the set by 10, 11, get my content. No, I'm relaxed. So I guess I'm in a good spot, maybe. And I'm beginning to love it.
That's
I
good to
can
hear,
I can
Vito.
definitely relate. I'm an introvert. I no offense to Natalia, who I see almost on a daily basis, but I don't like meeting people. Just
No,
because
no, no offense
just
taken.
because I'm an introvert. So the whole pandemic, and I acknowledge the privilege that comes with the statement, but the whole pandemic lockdown works for me just because again I get to focus my energy on things that I feel like I is important to me and things that I can accommodate and focus on from the comforts of my home. So
Yeah.
again, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm curious just to know, you know how some people amidst lockdown, sir, got into the whole plantita thing,
I'm one
they
of
Uh-huh.
them.
or they started like working out, or they started becoming like chefs in the kitchen, learning new dishes. What is one new skill that you've picked up amidst pandemic, sir, if any?
Uh, I leave the plantita to the homemaker, which is my wife. She does it, and she loves plants. Even before it became fashionable, she was already a plantita. She was you know getting flowers from their farms before, blah blah blah. Because most of the time I stay in the house, I got myself a scooter, a small Vespa.
Oh,
So I
Oh,
usually sleep around 9, 10 in the morning at night, and wake up at 4 a.m., maybe 4:30, and I drive myself around town in UP, riding the wind all by myself, and I like the freedom of it. It's like you're flying and you're in a zen with a motorcycle, and I get focused, and that's how I start my day. I don't get my new hobby now is actually work from home. I'm I'm planning to spend, like, which I've been doing, 2 weeks in Boracay, 2 weeks in Manila, because we have businesses there, we have JTs there. Part half of my time I want to spend in a paradise island. So next month after my shoot, I'd go straight to Siargao and open
Wow.
again JTs. Our JTs, there's an existing one, and that's my ideal office. I'm in an island paradise, which is an office for me, and I don't want to trade anything for that. That's
I
what I picked up, and I'm bound to go to Coron to look at another place where we got
wow.
a small
Wow.
spot. So yeah, kasi naniniwala ako, no matter what they say about the Philippines, para sa akin, ang Philippines is really paradise. You go out to the islands, and if you're really world traveled, some of our islands are incomparable to those islands like maybe Maldives, and maybe their facilities are better, the amenities or whatever. But these pristine white beaches, I'm really out to explore them, to enjoy them at this stage of my life. I think ang paniniwala ko, matagal tayo tatanda nito. You're gonna spend half of your time in an island, in a paradise island. So I'm trying to live an ideal life. But an island is not bad, no?
Not at all. That
Not
is
at
also
all.
my goal. That is my goal, to retire somewhere
In
near the
an
beach.
island. Oh yeah,
Oh,
Exactly.
beautiful.
I
I
mean,
agree with you
look,
that
the tourists travel halfway around the world just to go to Boracay or to Siargao or to El Nido. Eh tayo nandito na tayo, atin to. I know how close El Nido and to the West Philippine Sea, or how close it is to the South China Sea, but it's ours. You know, let's fight for it. I want to enjoy it and show to the Philippines through, sometimes on Facebook or Instagram, how beautiful our country is, how beautiful it is. And nalulungkot ako that it might, end up into other people's hands. Here we go again, not learning from history. Maybe there's going to be a new colony, new colonizers. We can't even go to our islands, which is ours, because China
Right.
has already claimed it. So it's my chat ang Pilipinas ay para sa Pilipino, ang atin ang Pinas. So that's how I wanna, uh, make a statement and make people aware that how beautiful our country is.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for that statement.
it
That
is
is very
truly beautiful.
powerful and very important. Again, especially given the political climate that we're in. Thank you for that. Um, and at this point in time, I just want to say thank you again for spending so much so much of your evening with us. And as we wind down here on the podcast, we always want to end the pod on a positive note. If you could please share with our listeners, the people who are tuned into the podcast right now, if you could leave them with some words of encouragement as we close this episode of Casual Conversations, what would those words be, sir?
Thank you.
Well, at this critical times that we have right now, I'd like it to be simple yet so true. It's my mantra already. Be not afraid. God is with us. So hindi tayo pababayaan. Basta keep the faith, no? Uh, and also invest in good karma. If you try to do good karma, good karma will come back to you. So, be kind and be useful. That's Barack Obama's words, actually. But
I was about to say.
but if you can help out, tulong ka. Like at this point, a lot of people need help. If you can only take a little time of yourself to help somebody, why not? Because the feeling in return is, in the end, you cannot compensate it with material stuff, but feeling good is, well, like they say, looking good. No, no, no. No, really. This is the time that we should address ourselves, human beings, na in these critical times. Ano ba tayo? Mag-aawayan lang mala tayo? Why don't we help each other? And I think during crisis like this, I really, get emotional when I see people helping out one another, like those mga ano yun, yung food, what
Community
do you call this,
pantries.
pantries. Yes,
Community
so
pantries.
that's
Yeah.
that's very simple but very, very touch, and yun yung bayanihan spirit ng Pinoy
Yes, I
na
agree.
dapat hindi mawala. So good luck with the politics for next year, but I hope we get to vote the right people so that we will be in good hands. But do not be afraid, God is with us.
Got it. Thank you so much for those wonderful words, sir.
Thank
Thank
Now,
you.
before we let you go and officially end the podcast, where can people find you? Do you have anything to plug or anything that people can look forward to? Upcoming projects, please go ahead, sir.
Well, I just finished Ang Provinciano at a good 5 years with it. Now I'm doing 3 movies, which is I cannot divulge it because some of them there's a non-disclosure agreement. But do watch out for JT's food truck, and usually yung mga inaano ko ngayon, ini-endorse ko are not movies but the restaurant business. So with many hats. I can take one and doff off my hat, and we'll see. See you around in the movies. I hope they'll open the cinemas right now.
I hope so too.
It's about
Me
time, and there's a really good project that's happening. I think On the Job is going on HBO, so watch
Wow.
out for it. The On the Job
Congratulations.
thing we did, so they'll combine it with the On the Job 2, and hopefully we'll be able to do the On the Job 3. Hopefully. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I am looking forward to that as well. Add that to
So
my
am I.
list of things that I want to do because of Joel Torre. The other one being retire by the beach. And the third
Yes,
one,
so
the
diba?
third
Diba?
one is have unlimited supply of JT Manukans and rice.
I
Don't worry,
definitely want to retire. by the beach.
we'll send some over to your office,
Akala ko you're gonna
to
say,
your
sir,
studio.
akala ko, sir, you're gonna say, we're gonna send over unlimited JT Manukas. Go ahead, why not? Again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We just had award-winning actor and producer Joel Torre on Casual Conversations. My name is Ryan, and for my partner Natalia Villanueva, this has been another episode of Casual Conversations. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Natalia. Hi, everyone. This is Joel Torre. Thank you so much for having me on Neo Retro 105.9's Casual Conversation. Only on the One.